Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Bills Blitz. Week 4 is here, and our Buffalo Bills are undefeated at 3-0. They are going to be taking on the Saints, and they come marching into town in Orchard Park on Sunday. They're winless at 0-3 and desperate to save their season, and we're going to break down a game preview of this matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Buffalo Bills today on Bills Blitz. Joining me tonight is my really dear friend. I've worked on his channel for probably the past 3 years, and he's going to cross over into Go Bills podcast tonight and join me for a game preview of the New Orleans Saints game. Mike Fortin from Nickel City Mafia. Mike, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, Brad. I'm excited to finally get on your show here. I think I've been on one other time, and you've just been crushing it. So I'm excited to do the show with you. Very proud of the work you're doing, all the work you're putting in. You're killing it. So happy to be here for you, man. You've been doing a great job in Nickel City Mafia, helping us grow. Got to return the favor to you, buddy.
Hey, I really appreciate you. And you joined me the last time for a Sunday sit down episode.
Yes, that's
and if
the one.
You guys are new to the channel, click on over to the Sunday sit down schedule, and you can see Mike, get to know him a little bit more and what he does, why he's a Buffalo Bills fan and everything. He is top notch. I mean, he's running a channel that is killing it on Nickel City Mafia. They're doing fantasy shows. They're going to start the Buffalo Sabres later on this month. Golf shows. They have Red, White, and Ruthless with me and Sean on there doing pregame shows as well. So if you're new to my channel or you're coming over from Nickel City Mafia, welcome him in and click on over to his channel and like it as well. Well, Mike, we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills game tonight, and I want to start off with the injury report because it's starting to build up for the Buffalo Bills, and they're dealing with some injuries in the front seven with Ed Oliver and Matt Milano, as well as AJ Epinesa has an injury. They've all been on the injury report, and then on the offensive line side of things, and this is going to hurt Sean Kula. I know he's going to be a little disappointed in this. Spencer Brown added to the injury list with a back injury / calf issue. That's going to hurt too. Then for the New Orleans Saints on their side of the ball, they have their own struggles right now on their offensive line. They also are dealing with issues in protection over the last 3 games, and they've been shaky left and right. Then their defense has struggled to create pressure, and that's going to be a major storyline to talk about tonight. Do you have any thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, look, our offensive line is one of the best in the league. So if Spencer Brown can't go, it'll be a great opportunity for our backup there. Who's our backup right now at tackle?
Ryan Vandermark.
Yeah, so we'll get a chance to see Vandermark. Next man up. I think the Bills, I know we got Cameron Jordan on that side, which is, guy's 36 years old, Brett, and still killing it. But I think the Bills will be prepared. Obviously, we have those tight ends that can block. They'll put some help over there for Vandermark. So I'm a little worried. That's the only thing that worries me a little bit. But I think the Bills will handle it with, like I said, some extra help over there on the side. On the defensive side of the ball, yeah, I mean, we've seen what this Bills defense has been doing lately. We've given up lots of rushing yards, and this is the only way I think the Saints stay in this game is to keep long, sustained drives, keep the ball out of the Bills' hands. And the more injuries on defense we have, especially in that middle, and then Matt Milano being out, which is, Brett, I mean, Matt Milano, just getting used to him being out, right? We got to stop talking about being concerned because the Bills know this, and those depth pieces should be there in place. I'm not so worried about the linebacker so much because I kind of like, great, when Matt plays, he's one of the best, but I'm kind of getting used to not having him there. I think our corners have been playing pretty well, and our safeties. Again, we haven't been playing the greatest teams. And here's another one coming into town who probably is worst of the previous 2 teams that we played. So not extremely worried with the injuries. I do think there's an opportunity for New Orleans for their game plan again on the offensive side to run the ball a little bit more, and but no real big concerns here for me based on your injury report.
Yeah, the injury report, I mean, it might scare some people, but let's go back to last week with the New Orleans Saints. They lost 44-13 against the Seattle Seahawks, who are playing tonight, actually. Gave up 320 yards, total yards, 22 first downs. The Seattle Seahawks actually lost the time of possession battle, but this is the stat that interests me in this game. They ran 54 offensive plays. Actually, the New Orleans Saints ran more offensive plays at 70 plays, and they shut them down left and right for the Seattle Seahawks side of the ball. They averaged 5.9 yards per play, which is a great stat for the Buffalo Bills if they're able to do that. The Seattle Seahawks also had 233 passing yards, 87 rushing yards, so maybe the New Orleans Saints were selling out the run game for the pass game and didn't think that Sam Darnold would beat them. But boy, did he show up in this game and put up 44 points. And the defense of Seattle played well too. It was a really, really interesting game, Mike. But let's get into some of the X factors for this matchup, Mike. And I want to start off with Josh Allen versus the New Orleans Saints in their coverage game. You know Josh Allen right now. I mean, he's playing like an MVP. His mobility is the X factor in this game. If New Orleans can contain him outside the pocket and plays break down, Buffalo's receivers will have to make big plays. So, Mike, I mean, talk to me about this. Josh Allen going up against the Saints coverage. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that he's going to put up big numbers. People have been wanting him. The last couple games is like, Josh Allen throws for 3 touchdowns last game, a little over 200 yards. The game before that against the Jets didn't put up a whole lot, but the Bills don't need to anymore because of the run game. I don't think they have any plan to stop Josh. If they sell out, like, let's see, the Dolphins. Dolphins are saying, hey, I think they had a spy on Josh. And they were selling out on, we're gonna keep them throwing everything underneath. Well, this Josh Allen will take whatever your defense is giving you. So how do you stop that? You sell out on the run, then he starts taking it over the top. I don't really see them having much of a plan to stop Josh. And if they do, we've got that great run game, which is just going into, which is great to have. And I don't think we'll have to lean on the run game. I think we'll still be very balanced. But I'm not concerned. Like, how do you stop Josh Allen? And that's defense on their side. Look, they're 0-3 for a reason. They're a team in rebuild. They just don't have a lot of great guys. They have a few great guys, veterans over there on the defensive side, but nothing at all that I think that they can do to stop Josh Allen. So if Josh Allen has a really off day, he'll just go to the run game and be able to move the ball that way. But Josh is gonna put some numbers up, I think. Now, the only thing for fantasy footballers, this game could get out of hand and they could sit the starters in the fourth quarter. Keep that in mind. But hey, let's hope. I know I don't usually talk like this, but I'm so confident. Vegas has the Bills as a 16.5-point favorite. Yep. They had the Bills as a 12.5-point favorite over the Dolphins. We didn't quite cover that. A little bit different. That's an interdivision game. Those are always tough. Those teams see us twice a year, and there's just that rivalry. So they always play up against the Bills. Saints, like you said, they're coming in. Yes, they're 0-3. Again, it's a rebuilding season for them. So I'm not so worried about them, and I don't think they'll have a plan for Josh. Can you go to John Roberts? Thanks for joining us, John. His question about Landon Jackson real quick, because this is important to me. Do I think he will be active? I sure hope so. And I was joking with Sean. If Landon Jackson doesn't get a jersey this week, I'm switching teams. As you all know, I'm just joking about that. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give the man an opportunity in a game against a team that you should demolish? He could get a lot of play time, especially in the fourth quarter if you're resting people. And Javon Sullivan hasn't been doing anything special. And TJ Sanders, of course, TJ's going to start he's going to be active, but he hasn't been doing great. So give the youngster Landon Jackson an opportunity to at least get some game playing time, because we know when Ogunjobi come back, when Hoyt comes back, they're probably going to find some injury with Landon Jackson to put him on the IR for the rest of the season to open up a spot for one of those two. So give him some opportunities. Here we are coming into week 4. Maybe find some opportunities from week 4 to week 6. And then after the bye, we'll see. Like I said, I truly believe they're going to put Landon Jackson on IR. You know how those magical injuries pop up all of a sudden. You'll have a sprained toe or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, I've seen it happen quite a bit. I mean, Buffalo finds a way to play the magical rainbow card with the injury reports, and I don't know how they get away with it. I'm, not for or against it. I mean, obviously, I want to have all the players that we know of be Buffalo Bills, but it sucks when there's an injury that happens and they have to miss a whole entire season. But it happens in the NFL. I want to get into real quick you kind of got into the line for the game, the over-under and stuff like that. I want to get into that real quick. The line for the game is the Bills are favored by 16.5. The over-under on the game is 46.5 points. The all-time series is actually in the favor of the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if you knew this, Mike. 7-5 for the New Orleans Saints. The last meeting, the Buffalo Bills won 31-6. That was in 2022. And the trend in this game is that the Bills have won the last pretty much, I think, 13 straight home wins. I don't know if you knew that, Mike.
No, I did not.
But, I mean, that's an incredible stat.
Yep.
The Saints are 1-6 on the road against AFC opponents. So it's trending towards Buffalo in this game. So, I mean, I really like that. But I want to go back into the X factors for this matchup. And we talked a lot about Josh Allen going up against the New Orleans Saints. And, I mean, since the New Orleans Saints lost Marshawn Lattimore last year when they brought him over to the Washington Commanders, I don't think that this Saints coverage scheme is going to stop Josh Allen. It's kind of like pretty much Miami last week. I think that Miami was a little bit better, but I don't see this New Orleans Saints defense stopping Josh Allen. I think he can do whatever he wants, and if he wants to run the ball, and that's how he wants to command the offense, I'm all for it. But if he wants to throw the ball and sit back there and use the play action game, I'm all for that too. And I'd love to see Josh Allen have a big day, but I also understand if he doesn't have a big day because they're trying to save him for later in the year when you have to go up against teams like Kansas City and even Houston later on in the year, as well as the Eagles. You're going to have to use Josh Allen and his legs as well as his arm to beat teams like that. So I get it completely. Let's get into the second X factor for the game, Mike. And this is where we could really use Sean Kula from Red, White, and Bills. He loves the offensive line. He loves talking about them. But you kind of got into it with the injury report, and we talked about the Bills' offensive line versus Cameron Jordan. They're also going to be going up against a younger player in Carl Granderson, who is starting to emerge as one of the better pass rushers on the New Orleans Saints. And the duo is doing a really good job of creating a pass rush that could hurt the Buffalo Bills in this game, especially losing Spencer Brown if he doesn't play. I know that there's some talk from people on One Bills Live, and John Robert brings it up that Spencer Brown says he's fine to go against the Saints. Maybe the Bills sit him out just to get him healthy so that you don't risk another injury. We could see that. But let's talk about Cameron Jordan. He's 36 years old, and Carl Granderson a little bit. And Mike, I'd love to know your thoughts on Cameron Jordan. What do you think of him as a player? And I mean, yes, he's old, but still one of the better pass rushers in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, like I said earlier, he's 36 years old, still bringing it. He had 4 sacks last year, 2 sacks before. So he's at the tail end of his career, but he's still playing exceptional football. Again, just because we're without Spencer Brown, that'll be the side he probably lines up on the most. He's going to try to take advantage of that because of how well the Bills tight ends block. Dawson Knox, Jackson Halls. I mean, I see them just putting one of those guys over there and, taking them out. So I'm not so concerned there at all. Our left side, again, I edit all of Sean Kula's videos on the Trench Talk, right? It's a great show. He's one of the few or the only who actually get into the trenches because those are the guys that aren't really getting a lot of people excited. People don't talk about them. They don't buy their jerseys, but that's how the games are won in the trenches. So
Yeah.
Sean does a great job. And, everything I listen to, I'm not concerned whatsoever about, I don't know much about the younger guy that you were just talking about from the Saints. We'll have to talk about him a little bit, but yeah, I'm not so concerned about Cameron Jordan.
I mean, I'm going to talk about Carl Granderson real quick because this is a player that, this season, he's putting up high numbers. He already has 15 tackles on the season, 3.5 sacks. If you look at that over the course of a full season, that's 85 tackles for a defensive lineman, 19.8-ish sacks. That's incredible numbers. And yes, he's gone up against the Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and Seattle Seahawks. They're pretty much the whole entire NFC West in those matchups. He's putting up incredible numbers, and he's somebody that you have to look out for if you're Josh Allen out there on the field. You cannot get hurt in this game and risk, what could be a very deep run in the playoffs. So if I'm Josh Allen, I'm circling my eyes and, making sure that I'm alert on where Carl Granderson is out there on the field. You also have to look out for Cameron Jordan because he can still do it in the NFL. And he, like I said, Mike, he's 36 years old and one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. So this duo, while they're not well known in the NFL in terms of being, a good Batman and Robin, they are a good Batman and Robin combo out there on the field too.
Yeah.
So Mike, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking at Carl Granderson. So he's been around since 2019. He was undrafted. Really started to shine from 2022 to 2024. I'm looking at some PFF rankings there. He's really strong in those 3 years. A little bit so far off to a slow start this year, but so he's been in the league since 2019. I thought maybe he was a younger guy, but 6'5", 261. Again, the problem is their interior is rough, right? Their interior line is so rough. I think the Bills are just going to eat that alive, and it's going to open up Josh Allen for play action if he wants to take advantage of it.
Hey, Mike, can you pull up what college that Carl Granderson went to?
He went to Wyoming Cowboys. And who else went there?
That's what I wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear. This is an old Wild Wild West showdown. Week 4. You've gone up against the NFC West pretty much. Now you got the Wild Wild West and Josh Allen going up against him. Let's see if you can rein him in and come up with a sack here. Get your 2.5 sacks on the season. So it'll be interesting. And the Cowboys going up against each other. So I love that matchup. I think it's going to be really fun. Mike, let's turn it over to the defensive side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills. And let's talk about this matchup that they're going to have. Yes, it's Spencer Rattler at the quarterback position for the New Orleans Saints. He has done a really good job this season as a quarterback in managing the game. While they haven't won a game, they've been in games and been in close games this season. But I want to turn it over to their biggest X factor on the offensive side of the ball. And this offense runs behind Alvin Kamara. And New Orleans' best chances of controlling this game is for Kamara to have a big game. And if Buffalo shuts him down, the Saints will be forced into predictable situations. And I think that favors the Buffalo Bills. So, Mike, let's talk about the front seven going up against Alvin Kamara. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on that matchup, because Buffalo at times has struggled against good running backs in the league.
Yeah, but you also need to be successful at running, you need a very strong offensive line. And even though the Bills have struggled against the run, and that's the only path I see for New Orleans staying in this game is running the ball, moving, long sustained drives. But the problem is they haven't been able to do that. And I was listening on the way home from work today through the Buffalo Shout podcast, and they had, I forget who the gentleman is over there from New Orleans. He does a podcast, and he's basically saying they just can't put together these long sustained drives. You know how the Bills are. They're bend but don't break. So they will dare you. Try to go on a 12, 13, 14 play drive against us. you're going to make a mistake, and especially with a team here that's still kind of rebuilding, getting that chemistry worked out. So I'm not too concerned about the front seven. I would hope that we'd start to see some light from Rousseau. Deion Walker's been exceptional. He's going to help plug that middle. Daquan Jones has been very good this season as well. But I'm not putting the running game against the D line, because according to Sean, the D line was great or good. It's been those linebackers who have been causing the issue with the run game, not filling the gaps and things like that, especially without Milano. But again, you're looking at their offensive line. It's not too strong. So I think our front seven will do just fine. That is look, they haven't even been using Kamara in the passing game. Kamara was like one of your top fantasy players years ago. Been in the league quite a while now, right? He's been in the league since 2017. So 8 years. The guy used to be, like I said, one of the first or second round picks for running backs. They're just not utilizing him in the run game. They can do that. I would try to do that. If you're gonna run him, throw him some screens, he can make plays.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
But again, I'm not concerned with the front seven, even with the injuries. Rousseau, I'd like to see him show up more. Like I said, Bosa's been one of the best defensive lineman outside of Ed Oliver, since Ed Oliver's not there. If Oliver was in, obviously he's probably that guy. He is that guy. But Bosa's been really good this year so far. Stay healthy. And then the linebackers, I thought Shaq Thompson looked pretty strong last week filling in. So, man, he laid a hit on Devon Achane that concerned me, because Devon Achane's my running back in fantasy football, and I thought he was going to take his head off on that screenplay that Tua threw. So front seven against them, look, they're going to have to sustain drives and not lose the turnover battle, which the Bills have won. Bills have won the turnover battle for some crazy number of games. Do you know what that number of games is? Off the top of your head?
I think it's either 11 or 13 games. I think it's 11.
It's more than that. I think it's more than that.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's almost.
I think it's 18.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's in the 20s, but they haven't lost the turnover battle in like 20 something games. I think.
John Roberts going to help us.
John will help us with that one for sure. John's got a lot of stuff he's talking about. You want to?
Yeah, I want to pull up some of these comments. And John, I do appreciate you coming into the chat. You had a lot to say so far, and we're not forgetting about you, man. I promise you that. Let's get into some of these things, because he's also talks about Brandon Codrington and whether he will be with the Buffalo Bills when Maxwell Hairston comes back. And we do have a couple of injury updates on players that are currently on IR, as well as players that could be coming back very shortly, like Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, players like that. Let's start off with Maxwell Hairston, our first-round pick. The news update on him is that he's still a couple of weeks away. He is training with the athletic staff right now. Not right now specifically, but each day he is training with the athletic staff. And, he's getting healthier. He's getting back to normal, but he's still a little ways away from being activated and starting that 3-week window as to whether he's going to come back onto the field or not this season. As for the Buffalo Bills kicker situation, Tyler Bass, there's been an update on him this week. And Mike, I don't know if you heard this update, but it looks like he's going to be coming back shortly. Maybe within a week or two, we could see Tyler Bass back in the lineup. I don't know whether that's going to mean that Matt Prater is off the team or not, or are they going to ease Tyler Bass back into the lineup and maybe Prater makes some kicks and Tyler Bass takes over the kicking game, in a situation that we saw years ago with Buffalo, where we had 2 kickers on the roster. I'm forgetting their names, but I know one was John Casey was one of the kickers. I can't remember the other one that we had, but we had 2 kickers at the time. One was taking the extra points, and the other one was kicking off. Could we see that? Which I doubt that we will see, or maybe the Bills release Tyler Bass, which would be crazy to happen, but it could very well happen. But
I don't think they will. Prater's done such a great job. He did miss that one bad kick, but I mean, he's been so clutch. I'd hope they get him on the practice squad somehow, keep him around. I do believe if Prater is released, he's done enough that another team's going to pick him up, because it always seems to be some kicker gets injured or is not doing great, and there's Prater. He's already proven. He's got the most kicks over 50 plus. He's already kicked a few of those for us this year, and he's been pretty stellar.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And look at Atlanta right now. They released Younghoe Koo, and they released him. And then their kicker that they have, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he misses 2 kicks in the game against the Carolina Panthers, and they get shut out. So could we see an addition for the Atlanta Falcons where they get somebody that has so much veteran knowledge as a kicker and bring him in and make a difference in their special teams unit? That could very well happen. Or maybe he decides to retire, stays with the Buffalo Bills as a consultant, and teaches Tyler Bass in those clutch moments. We've seen him struggle. Maybe they bring him in as a consultant and he can fix some of the woos from Tyler Bass, which I would love to have happen too. Don't get me wrong. But I want to get into some of the other comments from John Robert on Facebook. He also mentions that fans forget that Codrington is a cornerback technically. You're absolutely right. As well as with Jackson Hawes there, Alec Anderson doesn't play as much. Absolutely correct on that. He also mentions that one person is getting a college jersey between the battle of Granderson versus Josh Allen. We'll see, what happens there, who gets the jersey. But one of them's getting their jersey retired, and we know which one it is. It's going to come up in November that Josh Allen's getting his jersey retired from Wyoming, which is an incredible stat. He also mentions Daquan Jones even played 3-tech, which that was incredible to see him at the 3-tech, and he's producing at the 3-tech as well. He also says, my guesses are that Maxwell Hairston plays starting role after the bye. I could very well see that too. And next is to see more out of TJ Sanders. I completely agree with what you're saying there, John. And I appreciate you for coming in on Facebook as well with all your comments and thoughts throughout the whole entire series that we've done from Bills Blitz. But let's bring in our fourth X factor of this game, which is going to be the New Orleans Saints wide receivers going up against the Buffalo Bills secondary. And Mike, I want to bring this up because Buffalo has been putting together a really good coverage scheme against top receivers in the NFL throughout this year. We went up against Tyreek Hill. We went up against Jalen Waddle. We've gone up against even Garrett Wilson for the Jets. And then in week 1, we went up against Zay Jones, Rashad Bateman, as well as DeAndre Hopkins. And we put some good numbers out there in terms of not giving up the big plays, in my opinion. Even though we gave up a touchdown here or there, I felt like the secondary has done a wonderful job. And that was kind of the talk throughout the whole entire offseason, was whether Cole Bishop was going to step up into this lineup or are we going to get shredded each and every week. I like what we've seen out of the secondary so far this season. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we got shredded week 1, but that was the whole defense and not only just the run game, but the pass game. I think the Jets, again, not being a very good team, it's hard to kind of judge how those corners or the secondary is doing. And then the same thing against the Dolphins, though, who have a lot of great skilled players. You got Waddle, you got Hill, you got Devon A-Chain. We did see Waddle take I think it was one of Benford's worst weeks, but that's a tough ask. But Waddle's a very good receiver. You got Tyreek Hill, who we did contain. Tyreek Hill to me is I don't know what's happening and why they're not able to utilize him. The guy is such a speedster. Just get him the ball. I'd feed him the ball 10 times a game and let him do his thing because he typically would break one. But the Saints come in. They have good skilled players, right? They got the vet Cooks, who's been a solid receiver since 2014. He's been in the league 11 years now. Strong no matter where he goes. It's crazy to me that he moves around so much. But you got Cooks. Their tight end, Jawan Johnson, who's been getting a lot of targets. Watch out for him. He's undrafted, but he's been getting a lot of targets from them, and he'll probably see more targets again, if not early on, to keep things alive, because their receivers don't like to go over the middle. Chris Olave and Cooks, they're not over the middle guys. So Juwan Johnson's getting a lot of those targets. So keep an eye out for him. And then again, they got Shaheed, who's their speedster. That's the guy who can take it deep. So watch out for him. I'm sure they're going to try to take some chances there. But the Bills typically, they don't let a lot of big plays up, right? They keep everything in front of them. It's hard to get behind them. Of course, with the youngsters back there, there's always a possibility that could happen. When I say youngsters, it's just not Rep, of course, not Benford. Got Trey White there, and then Bishop, right? Bishop's a guy that if there's going to be a mistake that's made on a deep route, it's going to be him. But they have good skilled players. Of course, they have Kamara in the backfield. They have good weapons for Rattler. It's just not sure. I haven't watched a lot of the games. I'm not sure why they're not being more productive there, but maybe it's the old line not giving Rattler. I think Rattler's been sacked 6 times on the year so far. Not too bad. Not too bad at all, actually. Josh has been sacked 4 times. So, but maybe it's the offensive line. I don't know. Do you have any more insight on that?
I just think that the Saints are a team that's struggling right now. I don't know if it's coaching, if it's the team. They've lost a lot of players, especially because of their salary cap situation over the last few years. They were in salary cap hell, and they had to let go of a lot of good players. Tyron Matthew. They released Will Lutz. I'm trying to think of who else they released, but they had a team a few years ago that was really good, and then their whole entire defense they had to pretty much give up. So now they're starting to get back into the right side of the salary cap, and they're just a team that they're a few pieces away from being a decent team in the NFL. And another thing that I wanted to talk about, Mike, is we talked about the wide receivers and Shaheed, Olave, Cooks. We talked about Juwan Johnson, but we didn't talk about one of the biggest X factors that could play a pivotal role for the New Orleans Saints in Taysom Hill. And you look at him. Yes, he is the backup quarterback to Spencer Rattler, but they have to find a way to get this offense moving down the field. And at times, I think it could be where you see some trick plays with Taysom Hill coming into the game. It could be where he throws the ball. It could be where he's a tight end. But they're going to find ways. And you saw it with when Sean Payton was there years ago. They found ways to get Taysom Hill on the field because he's a really good athlete. He makes plays for the team. And he's going to find a way to move the ball down the field too. And I wouldn't be surprised, in my opinion, if you see him at quarterback, at wide receiver, at tight end, all over the field. So want to bring him up too, because we haven't talked about him, and it's been almost 30 minutes into the show. So we got to bring him in.
Well, it's interesting because he has no stats for 2025. Is he hurt? Is he still on this team?
Still on the team for sure.
Okay, well, he has no stats, so I don't know what's happening because he has nothing for 2025. You would think they would have utilized them a few times. But yeah, no 2025 stats. So I'm not sure what the latest is on him.
I think that people are forgetting about him. Teams are just like, okay, he's a New Orleans Saint, but he's not playing right now. So, when you're looking at the game plan, if you're a Sean McDermott, Bobby Babbage, and the entire defensive unit coaches, you have to prepare for every single aspect of the game. It can't just be where you're worried about the guys in Granderson and Jordan. You have to worry about every picture of the game. And to me, it has to add in Taysom Hill on the offensive side of the ball. You have to worry about every single aspect, and Taysom Hill has to be in that game plan too.
So I think he's on the reserve pup list, Brett. So I think he misses the first 4 games of the season. So I think that's what's happening with him. But you're right. If he is available, it's been always fun to watch him, how they utilize him. But new coaching staff, completely new coaching staff, complete teardown on the coaching staff, right? So yeah, that's what's happening. So we don't have to worry about him. Thank goodness, Sean. I'm sorry, Sean. Brett, you don't have to worry about him.
Don't worry about that. You're right. He will start the season on the pup list. I apologize about that, guys, for mentioning him. But yes, he will be on the pup list. So the game plan doesn't have to revolve around Taysom Hill. But I was looking at the overall picture with their depth chart and everything. It wasn't updated for me on my side of things, but I'm glad there that we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
So that brings me into my fifth X factor for the game. And Mike, if you have any other X factors too after this one, please jump in and let me know some of your X factors. But for me, my fifth X factor of the game is red zone execution. And sometimes when you're going up against teams that are weaker than you, this is where things start sputtering, even though we should obviously thrive, and we have thrived in throwing touchdowns in the red zone. This is where something could very well happen for the Buffalo Bills, where we start to see them struggle, and I don't want to see that this week. I want to see them execute and put points on the board each and every drive.
Yeah, do you think? I think I saw a stat. Our red zone's been about to score a touchdown 66% of the time we score inside the red zone, and I think New Orleans has been about 50%. If I'm right, if I saw that stat right, I think those close. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the Bills have been pretty stellar on their drives. I mean, yeah, it does seem, at some point in the game they'll give up a few stops, and maybe they get a little I'm not even say they get a little comfortable, because we've seen it, right? Joe Brady likes to run, and we have a 3 and out, and we have a couple of those almost in a row.
Yeah,
but,
or run, screen, run,
those type of things. But yeah.
I mean, we got to get off the field on third down. I completely agree with what John Roberts is saying here with this comment. But in the red zone, you got to put the pressure on New Orleans, and I want to see the Bills. We've seen times this year. This is where things get hard, but we've seen the offense click at times. We've seen the defense click at times, and we've seen the special teams unit click at times. This is a game where you have to just show that this team in the New Orleans Saints deserves an ass kicking. I'm sorry to say it, but you have to have an ass kicking moment where you show that, okay, we're good on all three sides of the ball, and we're going to put teams away that we should put away. Because in Miami, I felt like we let our foot off the throttle really bad in the first half. And I want to see the Bills put the pedal to the metal, especially even though this is not a AFC East matchup. I want to see them put the pedal to the metal and really shut down this New Orleans team as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, and John Roberts as well. I mean, we gave up 10 of 15 third downs conversions to the Dolphins, and that's how you let a team and keep a team in the game. And they weren't just like third and short. We had third and sevens. We had third and longs multiple times. But again, I mean, the X factor for me, you asked me about an X factor. It's got to be Rousseau. I don't know how many times I can keep saying his name as an X factor, but he needs to show up. I feel like in last week's game, there were third and longs that he wasn't even on the field. And I thought, well, maybe we'll hear of some injury this week. Not the case. So I know he had, Sean said he had a decent number of pressures, but I don't know. He was kind of invisible to me. And when I didn't see him on third down in these critical situations, I'm like, what is happening here? So He's one of my X factors. Let's show up. And I think he's got maybe a half a sack on the year or something like that. I don't know what he has in total, but it's definitely not at the expectation we have. So let's show up. Deion Walker, X factor, seems to be getting better each week, Brett.
Yeah.
And we got a steal there. So our earlier draft picks, our later draft picks are performing much better. Jackson Halls and Deion Walker. And then Landon Jackson, hopefully we get to see him get an opportunity this week. I don't know. I didn't ask you. What do you think? What do you think the odds are of Landon Jackson getting a jersey this week?
I mean, I'm going to say 50-50.
50-50?
I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time.
50-50. Hey, I'll take 50-50.
I'm going to say I'm going to put it at 75% chance that we see him on the field. Okay. I think it's really high. I do. And I think he deserves time on the field as well, because this is going to be a game where the defense and the rotation is going to be utilized so well. You're not going to see a lot of Joey Bosa. Probably not going to see a lot of Greg Rousseau in the game. To the start of the game, yes, you will. But I think towards the end of the game, this is where you see the development of players that you drafted, and you see the development of players that you don't know of yet. So I want to see Landon Jackson out there on the field, get his jersey that he deserves in a game day jersey. And Mike, I want to see him have a sack in this game. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I think the odds I'm looking currently, I was trying to get on Hard Rock Bet, which is in Florida. This is what we utilize for our betting system down here because we can't use like ESPN, we can't use FanDuel, stuff like that. But I wanted to see what the odds were that if Landon Jackson gets a sack, and it's pretty high right now. It's actually plus 10,000 for him to get a sack in this game.
What?
Wouldn't that be cool if you put a little bit of money?
I can bet if he starts, I'm betting at anytime sack. We'll take it because you got to think. Look, Javon Solomon had like 9 snaps last week. Okay.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been playing great. But in this game, I think there might be more opportunity if the script goes according to the way we think it is, and that is the Bills get up by a lot and they start playing those backups in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that's where he might have an opportunity to make a play. So that might not be a bad bet. I mean, what if it's that big of odds? Put $20 on that thing, $10. Let's go.
I'd love to see it. I mean, that would be incredible. I know it's your guy. We're trying to work something out where maybe we get a t-shirt or something like that for Landon Jackson or an autograph or something like that, and we can slide it over to you because I know you've been a real help for my channel, especially throughout the year. So maybe it's an early Christmas gift, we could say. We're trying to work that into the budget of the channel. So we'll see what we can do, Mike.
Let me just give you some additional information because we talked about third down conversion. So we gave up 10 of 15 to the Dolphins. Now, believe it or not, the Dolphins are one of the highest third down conversion teams in the league at 54.3%. So maybe 10 of 15 wasn't so bad going against the top third down conversion team right now. But the Saints, they are at only 35% conversion. So I would hope the Bills don't allow them above that stat. If we have another 10 or 15, we got a serious issue on the defense. So I think the Bills right around there. It sounds about right. What is that? 35% is 3 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
A little bit over that, a little bit. So if we keep in right at that number, I think we'll be fine, which we should be able to keep them at that number. But if they're able to exceed that and get much closer to what we saw with the Dolphins, serious concerns is going to pop up.
Absolutely. I completely agree with what you're saying. I want to turn it over to the keys to the victory for the Buffalo Bills. And I have a few that come to mind, but I'm going to go one by one, Mike. I'll give you a chance. I'm going to start it off with my first key to victory, and then we'll go back and forth until we run out of keys to victory. But my first key to victory is protect Josh Allen and sustain offensive rhythm between the passing game and the running game. I want to see a balanced attack, and I want to see the Bills go down the field, put points on the board.
Yep, I'm with you there, and I want to see them get off to a fast start. I want to see us get off to a fast start. I want to see the Buffalo Bills have a comfortable lead at halftime, unlike what we saw last week, right? I want to see the Bills up at least 20, put 21 points on the board, and keep the Saints to less than 7. And the way you do that is just what you said: sustain drives, balanced drives, use that run game because they've been playing bully ball. That offensive line, again, Sean has put this in my head and I believe him. It's just so good. There's no defense that we need to really be concerned about with that O-line. And keep it balanced. I think you're going to see good numbers on both the run and the pass. Yeah.
And one of my next keys to victory is just what John Robert was talking about. And I brought up his comments real quick. He mentioned Tyrell Shavers getting a touchdown. He also mentioned Joshua Palmer getting his first touchdown. I think that the Bills have to spread the rock around in this game. Throw it to different receivers. Make the defense of the New Orleans Saints find ways to beat you and make them have to be constructive of every aspect of the game. You have 3 tight ends in this game that are really good pass catchers in Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, and Jackson Hawes. You also have some wide receivers that have put up some decent numbers over the last couple of weeks, but we've been missing, and we haven't even talked about him yet in the show. Curtis Samuel hasn't even been a factor in the offensive attack for the Buffalo Bills, pretty much getting some free money right now for Buffalo. But you have guys in Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, even Tyrell Shavers that are showing up. Joshua Palmer has at times shown up, but he hasn't caught a touchdown. And I want to see those numbers go up for him. And maybe even a touchdown pass for Elijah Moore too. Spread the ball around and give the ball to your playmakers and make it fun for them out there on the field too.
Yeah, anytime you spread the ball around, typically good things happen. So I'm fully in agreement with you there. Can you imagine, Brett, betting the anytime touchdown for Josh Palmer, anytime touchdown for Shaver, and anytime sack for Landon Jackson? Oh boy, those would be you have chances in a game if the script goes the way we think it could happen here.
I'm going to go over to player props real quick just to see what it would be if for an anytime touchdown for them. Let's see. I got currently it would be an anytime touchdown for Joshua Palmer. With one, it would be plus 350 for Elijah Moore plus 525, Tyrell Shavers plus 1100.
Wow.
And then let's see if we can find a sack in the game. Let's go over to sacks. In the sack, yes, I said already it was I'm sorry, I said minus 10,000. It's actually plus 10,000 for the sack from Landon Jackson.
Yeah. So if you hit on all three, oh my goodness, that might be worth putting $10 on. But John Roberts says, do you think Curtis Samuel will be active? I don't. Why would you at this point? You still want Joshua Palmer building that chemistry. Keon Coleman, I want to see Coleman, other X factor, right? I want to see Coleman bounce back and have another big game like we did in week 1. Want to see that. He should be unstoppable, and I want to see that. Khalil Shakir, I call him Pinball. That's the nickname I'm always going to give him, the Yak King. And there's a reason why he's a Yak King. There's something about him. He's not the biggest. He's 6 foot. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, he bounces off of people, gets extra yardage all the time. And that's why my nickname's Pinball. So if I ever met him, I'd be calling him Pinball.
I love it.
I don't know why. Because he does. He just gets yak. And he's so good at it. And you know what he said? I saw him on, what's her name? Kate Adams.
Kate Adams, yeah.
Kate Adams. All right. So he was on with Kate Adams, and she talked about the yak. And she goes, what do you contribute that? Like, how are you able to get those extra yards? And he's like, what motivates me is I don't like getting hit. I don't like getting hit. And so he strives to not get hit, which allows you to get extra yards. So it was kind of cool. It was a good interview, by the way. He's just a down to earth guy, man. I mean, all the Bills players are just down to earth, which makes them work the way they do, right? They just don't complain about not getting X amount of targets every game. Nobody complains about it. They're down to earth. They go out with, they do team things all the time. They build that chemistry. They love one another. It's a great thing to see. So get a chance to watch that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, this offense they're very well, aware of each other. And this is a very balanced offense. I really think, Mike, and, with the players that we have around, I don't think that Gabe Davis is going to play into this offensive attack. I think that the Bills are going to release him, actually, or if you can find some trade bait, maybe we trade him to another team. I don't think he's needed right now. I mean, unless there's an injury, I think that we've seen some really good numbers out of Tyrell Shavers so far. I love his blocking game, love what he's doing as a wide receiver, and I bet you that Gabe Davis in the background, especially with this injury, I think he's coming in and showing Tyrell Shavers the ropes of what to do as a veteran in the NFL. But I think that his presence is on the practice squad is much more like what we saw out of Micah Hyde last year, where he's just a player coach type thing. But I don't think his services are needed with the Buffalo Bills unless there's an injury. That's when I could see it happening for him.
Yeah, a lot of things would have to go wrong, Brett, for that to happen. And you're right. It's been a weird signing to begin with. a lot would have to go wrong to even see him on the field. He's still, I don't even know if he's still really healthy. I think the Bills did a nice thing about bringing him over. I mean, he's played for the Bills. They obviously love him and he knows the system. And yes, he could be helping some players out. But it's nice that they did that for him because just not sure. I just don't see him playing for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Unless it's the playoffs. I mean, we could very well see an injury happen and Gabe Davis pops into the lineup as your number 5 wide receiver and he makes big plays. But maybe, Elijah Moore's number is called off of the roster or Curtis Samuel, one of the two, and Gabe Davis makes the roster. That could happen, but
yeah, I want to see. And then we Shavers. I want to see Shavers continue to get more play time. So, and at this point in time, if I had to say Gabe Davis, Tyrell Shavers, I'm taking Shavers all day on that one.
Yeah, I agree. 100% I agree with you there, Mike. Let's get back into the X factor. I'm sorry, the keys to the game, though, Mike. I mentioned my second one, and Mike, do you have another one?
Keys to the game. Turnover. Continue to win the turnover battle. Don't turn the ball over, which I fully expect them not to. It's going to end at some point, that streak, but don't turn the ball over and make the most out of the turnovers, because it's typically it's insane. I didn't think they'd be able to sustain it. The Bills had so many turnovers last year. It really made a difference in all the games, and even in the games against the Ravens and against the Dolphins. It was just one turnover, but it turned out to be huge. And so they seem to be able to sustain that. It's insane to me that they are. But yeah, no turnovers on our side. And I know take advantage of any opportunities we get from, taking the ball away from them.
Absolutely agree with you there. I mean, the turnover battle, the last few games that we played, you talk about the Baltimore Ravens game, the biggest turnover of that game, Derrick Henry fumbling the ball. Then we saw week 2 going up against the Jets. I want to say Justin Fields had a turnover in that game, if I remember correctly. I want to say he had an interception in that game.
I don't recall it, Brett. It could have been. We can look. I can look at that real quick.
Yeah.
How about this though, Brett? How about Derrick Henry fumbling in his first 3 games, probably causing his team victory for 2 of those 3 games? Man, it's been insane. What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, you got to teach as a coach. When you're a running backs coach, you teach the offensive player when you're getting hit to cover up the ball. 2 hands on the ball at all times. I don't know if it's just that he's so comfortable and he's got the ball down low, or just good plays from players on the opposing teams, because he doesn't have a history of fumbling the ball. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but I think that he's going to turn it around. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to have 17 fumbles throughout the season, but this is scary. If you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, you got to figure out ways to make sure that you keep the ball in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry's hands. But the fumble issues could bring up some opportunities for running backs behind him, and Keaton Mitchell. You have Justice Hill as well, and they could get more opportunities into the lineup if Derrick Henry continues to struggle.
Yeah, just to go back to your Justin Fields. So he fumbled. That was the turnover in that game.
That's
no
right.
Interceptions, but he did fumble. He had 2 fumbles, 1 he lost. So
that's right. I knew there was a turnover. I just couldn't remember if it was a fumble or an interception in the game. But
good call on that.
But yeah, I mean, 3 straight games with a turnover. I mean, that's great numbers for the Buffalo Bills. Would love to have it continue in week 4. I mean, that'd be great. But this is going to be another tough matchup to not turn over the ball. I mean, sometimes when you're playing a team that's struggling and everything, that's when you start making mistakes because you're trying to blow them out. But we could very well see Buffalo have another game where they don't have a turnover and they create turnovers. I want to go real quick into the halftime score. It's actually just coming out of the first half. The Seattle Seahawks are up 14-3 on the Arizona Cardinals so far. And right now, Seattle does have the ball going down the field, and they are currently at the Arizona 45-yard line. They just ran the ball with Kenneth Walker up the middle and pushed it through to the Arizona 45. Could be a 3-possession game early on in the third quarter. So love what I'm seeing from the Seattle Seahawks because I took them as my survivor team. I took them as my Vegas spread team and love what I've seen so far out of them so far, Mike. But let's get back into the keys to victory. Do you have any more keys to victory? Because you stole mine there for the turnover battle, buddy. I love what your thoughts on that, but love to know if you have any other keys to victory.
No, not really. I mean, I think we've touched on most of the ones that I would have had. So unless you have other ones, I don't.
No, I mean, I think the only other ones that we have to mention is, the battle of the trenches. You have to win on both aspects in both sides of the ball. That's what Sean Kula would want me to say each and every week. You got to, just have good protection from Josh Allen. You have to have good, just control the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. And if we do that, I think it's going to be an easy victory for the Buffalo Bills. So that leads me into my last thought, which is the score predictions for the game. And Mike, as a guest, I usually let you guys go first, but today, because you know so much about the Buffalo Bills, you're so good at this stuff, I want you to go first. Give me your score prediction for the Buffalo Bills. How many points do they win by?
All right, so we know they're going to get 30. They've had 30 or more in each of the 3 games. I think this is a game where they get 35. I'm not saying it's going to be crazy. It's going to be 35, and I think I'm going to give New Orleans 17, only because I think they're going to get some garbage time points. I do have a question for you, Brett.
Yeah.
The Saints have been averaging about 102 yards on the ground. What do you think? What's your prediction for that number this week against the Buffalo Bills?
Over under, I think that the Bills will find a way to stop Alvin Kamara because that's number one. When Buffalo plays opponents, they find a way to stop your biggest weapon. And I really think that the biggest weapon in this game is Alvin Kamara. Put the ball in Spencer Rattler's hands as a young quarterback in the NFL. Make him beat you. If he does that, kudos to Spencer Rattler. He's a great quarterback in the NFL. But if he doesn't, then that's how you get a victory. And you have to find ways to put 8 in the box, stop Alvin Kamara at all times, make it about Spencer Rattler out there on the field, and make him have to throw to these playmakers at the wide receiver position because, yes, they are decent wide receivers in the NFL, but there's going to be ways where they're not going to create separation at times against Christian Benford, Tre'Davious White, and Taron Johnson. I think that the Bills will win that matchup, and they'll find ways to get turnovers out there on the field too.
Well, I love that, Brett. And don't forget Cam Lewis.
That's true.
Don't forget Cam. But no, I love that. You said it. You couldn't have said it any better. Great job.
Yeah, Trek Reviewer would be pissed off at me for not mentioning Cam Lewis right now. So, that's my thought. I think that this, like you said, this is going to be a game where I think Buffalo puts over 30 points in the game. I think it's going to be more of a blowout than people think. The defense and the crowd are going to play a huge role in this game. Don't get me wrong. I think the crowd is going to be so loud that Spencer Rattler is going to struggle. It's going to sound like he's playing in South Carolina, and he's that far away. Give me Buffalo to win 45-13.
Wow. Okay. So we both have them covering the spread, 16.5. What did you say the over was on this game?
The over was 46.5, I believe. Let me go.
So we both have the over hitting.
Yep.
Big time, actually.
Yep. 46.5 is the over. So I have the Bills just going over the that number. So I have 48 points. You have currently it was
35. I have 52 points.
52.
So it would be over.
I like those numbers though. I mean, I think that the over is the play. It's going to be tough, but especially if the Bills start sitting players in the second half of the game, it's going to be hard. But I think that Buffalo will find a way to be up early. And I mean, I saw last week with the Seattle Seahawks, they ran the ball left and right with Kenneth Walker to start drives, and then Sam Darnold finished off the drives. And they utilized the play action game. This is exactly what Buffalo needs to do in their script to beat the New Orleans Saints. I mean, at one point during the New Orleans Saints game last week, the spread on the game was 28.5 points. I mean, it was early first quarter.
Seriously? Dang.
Yeah, they were down 21-0. Early, I think it was 3 minutes left in the first quarter. They were down 21-0. You have to have that same aspect if you're the Buffalo Bills. Create turnovers, make them be down 3 scores, and make it a game where you have to go down the field each and every drive, 80 yards, 90 yards, whatever the case may be, put up points on us. And if you can do that, bravo, but you're not going to be able to do this against the Buffalo Bills with the crowd behind them too. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree. John Roberts asking who we'd like to see win the Ravens versus the Chiefs. I want the Ravens to beat them. I want them to be 1-3. And then just think about it. When we get to play them, if we were able to beat them, oh my goodness. We've already beat the Ravens. They've got 2 losses. So we've got that extra head-to-head win against them. I want to see the Chiefs lose, hopefully. No offense, Chiefs fans. We got some really good friends that are Chiefs fans. But if you've been losing to the Chiefs as much as we have, when it counts, I want to, and they seem to be a little bit down. Let's keep them down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think I can't remember the Kansas City Chiefs schedule. I think they play the Cincinnati Bengals later on in the season too. So if they are 5 losses, 6 losses, there's a chance that they could not make the playoffs. I mean, that would be crazy under Patrick Mahomes to see. And don't get me wrong, this is an early exaggeration on whether they make the playoffs or not. I'm not saying that they won't make the playoffs. But you have to go up against the AFC West, and this is no slouch of an AFC West when you're going up against the Chargers. You have the Broncos as well that are in this division. And yes, the Las Vegas Raiders are not looking the best right now. But, I mean, this is where you could be 1-3, and you're playing divisional games, and usually sometimes you split. Sometimes you win 4 out of 2. Sometimes you win 5 out of 1. But I could very well see a situation where in December, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs as a number 7 seed, number 6 seed in the playoffs, or we could see them outside of the playoffs. I mean, this is how you have to start off fast during your season, get wins early on, because when you start collecting losses and you're going up against your division, that's when it's make or break, and whether you make the playoffs or you are out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
so I could easily see them missing the playoffs. John Robert also mentioned Jordan Hancock being active or inactive. Do you think he's active?
I don't know why they would now. I don't think so. Unless the only way I think this is if they're really planning, they really think they're going to blow this team out. And again, I don't think they're thinking that at all. The Bills are going in there. Let's just get the W. It doesn't matter if they win by 1 or 100. I don't see why they would, John. What are you thinking there? Because they haven't. Has he been active at all this year?
No.
Hasn't been active at all. So
the first 3 games, it's been pretty much Chase Lawn, Jordan Hancock, Curtis Samuel inactive, with a sprinkle of Ed Oliver, Matt Milano in there as well.
Okay. If they're gonna have anyone new be active, you know who I want, Landon Jackson. So I don't think he will be, John. But what's your thoughts? Why are you thinking that? It sounds like you are.
I mean, maybe we see Cam Lewis be inactive. I doubt that that's going to happen, but I mean, I know some people that are fans of the channel would love to see Cam Lewis inactive, but I don't see it happening. I mean, I'm trying to think of the other safeties in the room, but you have Damar Hamlin out there. He plays a special teams role. You have Cam Lewis, who's a cornerback / safety. He can play a hybrid role. I don't think that he's going to miss time in the lineup because he has a pivotal role as the backup nickel cornerback. So he's not going to be inactive. I think it comes down to Jordan Hancock. He has to be inactive in this game. If there's more injuries, I could very well see him in the lineup, but you have to address the best 48 players out there on the field. And I don't think that he's one of the best 48 right now, but eventually he will be one of them.
Yeah.
But Mike, I mean, we've gotten into pretty much everything so far. I really appreciate you joining me tonight on Bills Blitz and talking about this game. We both think that the Buffalo Bills are going to stay undefeated, go 4-0 so far this season, and we'll give the New Orleans Saints their 4th straight loss. And it's going to be a great game to watch. 1 o'clock in Highmark Stadium. This is obviously it's the last season at Highmark Stadium, so the crowd has to be involved in this game each and every week. But Mike, thank you again. I really appreciate you, and let the channel know where can we find you. I know you're doing one show right now, but you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff too. Talk a little bit more about what you do for the Nickel City Mafia.
You can find me over on Nickel City Mafia. I've been, the channel is about 4.5 years old now. Jake Podger and I have grown it along with the assistance of you, Brett, and Sean. Sean does Trench Talk every week where he, talks about the O-line and the D-line. I do the editing for him, but he does all the hard work. I just edit it and try to make it look pretty. We got the pregame shows with the Ruthless, you and Sean. That's going to be Friday, tomorrow, actually. So you're going to have a little bit of a repeat here. What we just went over with you and Sean. Sean will bring a different perspective for sure. He does a great job. You two are the chemistry is great. Jake and I do the post games. And yeah, you talked about the Sabres. I'd like to see that getting kicked off in the near future. And we have fantasy football, and we also have a Discord that's absolutely free. And if you are into fantasy football or just want to talk sports 24/7, join the Discord. It's free. It absolutely is free. And we have a lot of good people out there that love sports, all kinds of sports. We can talk about anything you want, but and all fan bases are welcome. So that's where you can find us, Nickel City Mafia.
I will definitely add the Discord into the description of this show too after we get done. So if you're looking to join the Discord channel, just be aware maybe about 10-15 minutes after the show, I will have that in the chat as well, so you can join them on there. You have guys that are pretty much fans of any other team too. So not only are we Buffalo Bills fans, but you have Kansas City Chiefs fans, you have Houston Texans fans, Baltimore Ravens that are on there too. And it's not just covering the NFL, but like you said, fantasy football advice. If you're looking on ways to make your team better, you're looking for ways to do best. I mean, am I the best at that? Absolutely not. But you have guys that are pretty much experts at betting. You have the Sabres talk, you have Trench Talk, you have so many different categories. So, Mike, I don't know how you keep up with sleep right now, because your phone is probably blowing up 24/7 with messages from everybody between Discord, between YouTube, and all the other sides of things that you're doing too with editing. I can't imagine you're getting much sleep, man.
No, I'm doing okay. But it's fun. It's what I started the channel for, was to meet a lot of new people, which I have, a lot of Bills fans and other fans, and then just good folks like John Robert, who joined us tonight. So, that's what it's about for me, meeting new people and having fun with my friends.
No, I appreciate you, Mike. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also find us on our website, gobillspodcast.com. If you click on over to the website, you can see all of our upcoming shows for the week and throughout the year. You can also find me tomorrow on Red, White, and Ruthless on Nickel City Mafia. And you can find me, on our next show that we will be doing on my channel on Saturday for our Bills Insider Report. We'll do that 24 hours before kickoff and give you last-minute advice on how the Buffalo Bills can beat the New Orleans Saints. We'll see you next time for another edition of Bills Blitz. Stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.